I've been budgeting and managing my money for a long time. I've learned so much about myself along the way, and finally getting into a rhythm with my money and budget has put me in the best financial place I've ever been in. It's hard to imagine anyone's confidence not growing after that. In this episode, I'm sharing how managing my money has boosted my confidence and allows me to take on opportunities I may not have taken. I'm so proud of how far I've come, and while there's still more to go, I'm fully confident in my abilities to get there. Hey there, I'm Raya Reeves, and over a decade ago, I turned my life around through budgeting. I went from being an overspender deep in credit card debt to being the founder and full-time money coach of City Girl Savings. Now, I help women work towards their dream life and tap into their financial power one budget at a time. I fully believe you can live a life you love with a budget, and I'm living proof. The weekly City Girl Savings podcast focuses on the intersection of money and the City Girl lifestyle. Join me every week along with some special guests as I share my experiences, advice, and guidance on navigating life and money as an experience-loving millennial. So, managing my money has boosted my confidence in this feeling that I belong in rooms. And I think this is a big one, and it may or may not resonate with you, but as a mixed race woman who identifies as Black, managing and growing my money has given me confidence when being in certain rooms and places. If I'm attending an event with other individuals of wealth and power, I feel like I belong. If I'm contemplating a big purchase, I don't feel like a fraud or that I can only rely on credit. Managing my money and building wealth for myself has given me the confidence of going any and everywhere. Imposter syndrome doesn't exist for me like it used to. Obviously, people can take a look at me and judge and assume whatever they want to assume. I can't control that. They may think I don't manage money or have money or the way I look doesn't translate into wealth or anything like that, but I know I do. And that's a serious confidence boost. Also, don't make me pull out my receipts. But in all reality, I am much more confident about my ability to go places and be in certain areas and surround myself with people who have wealth and power and assets and things like that. And like I said, there's still a lot more for me to grow here, but there was a point in time where I didn't feel comfortable or I felt a little bit like a fraud or an imposter that I didn't belong because I knew what my bank account balance showed, and I don't have those feelings anymore. Now, another way managing my money has boosted my confidence is I notice that I am not as scared to take risks. Now, I will admit that even when I didn't have money to manage, I've often been comfortable taking calculated risks. I think that's just a personality trait of mine. Like, I'm okay with taking risks, especially if I know that the reward is worth maybe the risk. Here's a perfect example. There was a point in time where I went to school in LA. I was living out there. I was spending my money, accumulating debt, keeping up with the Joneses, all that fun stuff. But while I was out there, I was going to school for finance, but I also had a passion for acting. And so I would audition and do like small little gigs and things like that. But I got a role in a SAG-AFTRA union project. And to become a SAG or AFTRA member, you have to either work on one of those projects or like there were some other crazy expectations. But anyways, I got casted in that project and that gave me the opportunity to join SAG-AFTRA. Now, since I was in LA, that obviously means that it was during the time where I had no money and I had a lot of credit card debt and no available credit. And so fortunately, there is a SAG-AFTRA credit union. And if you don't have the money to pay for your membership up front, which I did not, you could take a loan out and join SAG-AFTRA. You just have to pay the loan back. And that's exactly what I did. I didn't have enough cash to pay for the membership outright. I ended up taking that loan and I never looked back. I didn't know how I would pay it back. I didn't I'm going to say I didn't care, but I kind of didn't care. I wanted to join SAG after so bad because I wanted to continue pursuing acting. And this was my opportunity to make it happen. And I could figure out what to do with the debt later. Fortunately, I ended up paying that loan off. Like all was good. I'm still actually a SAG after member to this day. The hardest part is getting in. Once you get in, you can maintain it. Even though I don't act or do projects like that anymore, I still keep my membership active because who knows what the future holds. So I think that's a good example of like, I've always been okay with taking calculated risks, but now that I have experience with managing my money, I'm definitely okay with taking more risks, bigger risks. Still not reckless. I'm not a reckless person, but I'm comfortable taking on risks that could carry positive or negative outcomes on a bigger scale. And here's a perfect example. I don't carry credit card debt. If I use my credit cards, I always pay the balance down to zero. And I have been doing this for years now. As a result, my credit score is in the 800s. And because of this, I'm always offered promotions for 0% interest, whether it's with a new credit card company or even with my existing cards. Like I have a Bank of America card, for example. And so every now and then I'll get a promotion saying, hey, get 0% interest for the next 12 months. Just take advantage by this date. And sometimes I do, and sometimes I don't. So the example I'm trying to share with you is if I have like a large purchase or if I need large amounts of cash for something, I will accept the 0% promotion, have that cash or that credit line deposited into my bank account as cash, and go do what I need to do with that money. And as long as I pay it back before that 0% promotion ends, I'm winning. So it's a risk, obviously. If I don't pay the balance back before that 0% promotion ends, then I'm going to be stuck with a pretty big interest bill because my credit limits are high and I'm not taking out small amounts of money when I do this. But everything up until this point, every time I've done this up until this point, I've been able to pay everything back. So because of that, I'm winning. And I think knowing that I am capable of managing my money gives me the confidence to take risks like this when I need to, not just recklessly, but if I know I need the extra cash or I have large amounts of money I need to spend, this is a great way for me to do it, keep my own cash flow, and basically borrow this money interest free. Just make sure I pay it back in time. Honesty time. Money management is not rocket science. It just feels that way because we tie our emotions, experiences, and sometimes our self-worth to our money. That needs to change, and I'm on a mission to help drive that change. In my new free masterclass, I'm sharing 3 ways to master your money and budget to see instant results. I'm going to show you how to level up your finances so you can begin to see forward progress with your goals and have something to show for the money you work so hard for. The masterclass is only here for a short time and it's happening soon. So save your spot now by going to citygirlsavings.com/masterclass. I can't wait to see you there. The next way managing my money has boosted my confidence is I now trust in my ability to make more money. So I started City Girl Savings in 2015, and I didn't go full time with the business until May of 2021. One of the reasons why it took me so long to leave corporate America and run City Girl Savings full time was the fear that I couldn't make as much money out on my own. I only left my corporate job when City Girl Savings revenue exceeded my salary, and it took a while for that to happen. But now, after being a full-time business owner for 3 years and managing my personal and business funds properly, I have the confidence in myself to make more money. I truly believe my income earning potential is infinite, and it doesn't just have to be limited to one source. I think managing my money has grown my trust in myself to make things happen when I need to make more money when I need to. Now, doesn't mean it will or always has been easy, because I can guarantee you it has not. And it doesn't mean that I won't or haven't taken losses, because trust me, I have. It just means that I trust myself more now than ever before to get out there and make things happen. Had I not learned how to successfully budget and manage my own money at whatever amount I was working with, I would not have this trust in myself. And I know that for a fact. So I think being diligent about my money management and budgeting efforts has given me the confidence to know that no matter what the situation looks like right now, I have the ability to improve it or change it or make it better. I can go out there and make more money if I need to make more money. And it doesn't have to be limited to just one thing or one way of doing it. And that is a huge confidence boost for me personally. Another way managing my money has boosted my confidence is the financial security that I have now has resulted in a lot less stress for myself. And let me just say, I am by no means anywhere close to where I want to be in terms of my net worth and overall wealth. I mean, I could not retire tomorrow if I wanted to, but managing my money up until this point has led me to being the wealthiest I've ever been. So this point in time right now, I am the wealthiest I have ever been. And that has given me security that I didn't have 10 years or even 5 years ago. I didn't have this confidence, this security in myself and my finances a decade ago, 5 years ago, when I was looking to take City Girl Savings full time, or back when I was struggling in California. I've never felt this before. And managing my money has given me so much confidence, and this security that comes with being good with managing your money and budgeting is, oh my gosh, it's such a great feeling. But don't get me wrong, I'm still human and I still have my moments. I'm not perfect. I make mistakes. And even for me, when it rains, it freaking pours. More money, more problems. I definitely understand that in a new light now. It's not necessarily that things get worse, but the problems get more expensive the more you have. It's just, oh, it's a weird thing. But because I have reserves on reserves on reserves, to make sure that when those problems come up, because I know they're inevitable, I can handle it. And that really gives me a jolt of confidence. Adding on to this, I have managed my money to this point where if things came crashing down, I would be okay. And if I'm being honest, 2023 pretty much showed me that. I mean, I had managed my money so well, thank goodness, that when my income tanked last year because I was so focused on being present for my mom, who ended up passing late in the year, I wasn't stressed out about finances. My mental and physical and emotional toll was spent on my mom and what was happening with her. I wasn't worried about money. I was okay. My bills were paid. All of that was good. And I didn't exactly enjoy the income dip. That was something I hadn't really experienced in that big of a magnitude. But here's the thing. No amount of money would have made it worth it for me to not have that present time with my mom. Like, I could have given up $1 million and I would have been okay with it because I had that time with my mom. So had I not managed my money well and budgeted to the point that I had, I would not have been able to be as present emotionally and physically with my mom, because I would have had to work to pay my bills. But I had put myself in a position where I had reserves and I had things managed and budgeted accordingly so that I could be there with her. And wow, that was a wonderful feeling. Going through an experience like that, an income dip, and not even caring about it showed me that I did good and that I had managed my money well, and I had been able to carry myself through an incredibly challenging time. That definitely has made my confidence soar. And I know my mom would be proud. The final way managing my money has boosted my confidence is I know and trust that I can spend large amounts of money and still be okay. So this kind of goes in line with the risk taking, right? So I'd never been afraid to take calculated risks, but I had been a little scared or intimidated about taking large amounts of money and spending it on something that I actually want. So, one thing that I've noticed about my past self was there was always this hesitancy when a major budget change happened. I already am not great with change. I think that's just the Virgo nature in me. So I have to like mentally prepare myself. But there were certain instances where my money and budget situation were going to have big changes. And I definitely felt the pushback. When my boyfriend and I got our first apartment in Austin, that was going to be a big budget change. And I was hesitant. When we bought our condo, that was going to be a big budget change. And I was hesitant. When I took City Girl Savings full time, that was a big budget change and I was hesitant. And even when I bought my dream car, like all of those situations, there was hesitancy in me and there was definitely some pushback. It didn't matter how many times I ran the numbers. And trust me, I ran the numbers a lot to make sure that I was going to be okay. But I always had this fear of like things going wrong. But, these were all situations that terrified me, but I went through them anyways. I ran all the numbers and still had the fear, but powered through. And, fortunately, my logical brain proved that if the numbers worked, I'd be okay. So I moved forward in all of those instances, but not without trepidation. And now I'm in this spot where I'm even having a similar fear with one of my life goals of owning a home in Palm Springs. Like I'm very close to making that happen. And I feel this same kind of trepidation. But you know what? Every single time, things have worked out. I have made it work. I had made the changes. And while that fear may never go away completely, I'm starting to realize managing my money has definitely boosted my confidence and showed me that I can spend large amounts of money. I can have huge budget changes and things are still going to be okay. Basically, I can continue to level up and maintain that new level again and again and again, and I'll be okay. That makes me feel so excited. It makes me feel like the sky's the limit and the options are endless. So if you take anything away from today's episode, let it be this. Successfully managing your money and budget can bring you things you never thought possible. You can have so much confidence in yourself and your decisions and your abilities. It's such a fulfilling feeling, I think, especially for women. It took me a long time to get here, and I know I still have a ways to go, but it's worth figuring it out and it's worth making it work. Thank you so much for letting me be the money coach in your ear today. I hope you enjoyed this episode of the City Girl Savings Podcast and you feel empowered and motivated to take the next step in the journey to your dream life. Remember, if someone like me, a millennial who loves to travel, new experiences, and iced coffees can live a life they love on a budget, you can too.